Welcome back, you guys. How you all doing? Today we have 3 stories to break down. I'm going to be discussing the Upamecano links. I'm going to be talking about the Chelsea Wonderkids who just signed his first pro contract today, and of course find out the big news that came out for our upcoming EPL game against Fulham. I hope you guys enjoy, and without wasting any more time, we start with the first story today, and that is our match versus Fulham. Now, this story did come out from Matt Law after some confusion this early afternoon between the reports coming out from The Athletic and from Matt Law. In the end, we got the final clarification, and that's the fact that the Friday game against Fulham has now been pushed back to Saturday at 5:30 PM UK time. Now, this game got moved back due to the fact that Fulham's game versus Spurs is happening on the 13th, and that was a fixture that was already postponed due to COVID. On top of that, this follows another reschedule because Spurs were supposed to play against Villa that same day. To be honest, it's not looking too great for Fulham. They're playing against Spurs on Wednesday, followed by a game on Saturday versus us, and this really highlights the difficulties that are now coming up due to the rampant rise in players catching COVID. Now, the Premier League do have some new enhanced tools in regards to helping fight back against this. So basically, every 2 weeks, clubs must conduct a COVID testing program. However, since the first test took place, there have been 40 reported cases of players catching COVID. And this was between the 28th to the 3rd of January, and you get the impression that it's going to keep rising and rising. This follows news that came out earlier today as well. The club have closed the academy until the end of this week, and that's due to 20 reported cases surfacing and being highlighted. Now, this won't affect the first team because, as I've stressed for a while, the first team has its own separate bubble. When you go to Cobham, the academy building is its own separate thing entirely. Things are pretty mad right now, you guys, and to move on to the second story, I want to discuss these Upamecano links. Now, Upamecano, the young French centre-back playing for RB Leipzig, for me, he's one of the best young defenders in Europe currently. It's no surprise why a host of the best clubs from across Europe are actively monitoring him, following him, and discussing their own plans to bring him to their club. Right now, RB Leipzig have confirmed that they won't be entertaining any offers to sell him in this January period. I mean, it makes a ton of sense, and considering the fact that Upamecano signed a new contract extension, taking his existing deal to 2023, but one of the main reasons behind signing that was because there was a 40 million exit release clause set in that contract. So considering that you can sign one of the top talented young players for 40 million euros, it's a very tantalizing offer, and to be honest, it falls in line with the previous reports suggesting that the club are actively looking at young centre-backs that have that high-class potential and do have European experience too. Right now, we're fighting off Liverpool, we're fighting off Bayern Munich, who are maybe one of the strong favourites at this point in time. But right now, you guys, I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions on the player, a player that I have spoken about previously, and I think the first thing I do want to state is that I've seen that Upamecano's rep has kind of gone down a bit online, and it's something that I tend to see quite a lot whenever we talk about players that look good on graphs and stat sheets and in video games, but when you actually watch them in real life, they don't live up to those unrealistic expectations that I think a lot of people, and me myself, can fall into that trap of doing time and time again. How I see things is that at 22 years old, how often are there world-class players at that age? It never really happens with those defensive positions because in defense, it really is one of those areas where experience helps take you a very long way. And how you have to see it is that when you sign a player like Upamecano, not only is his current ability level, very high, but his potential to go to the next level and the level beyond that. I mean, that is why you invest that money into him. One of the main reasons as to why some of the best clubs in the world are fighting to sign him, including us, is due to his ability to start the attacks. Now, when I look at Upamecano, he will be falling in the next line of great defenders in my opinion. Defenders such as your Silvers, your Terrys, your Puyols, etc, in the sense that they are the leading centre-back. They're normally the guys that have those leadership abilities and, they make that cohesion at the back work. They normally improve their other defensive partner, and it makes sense because now, especially in modern day football, starting attacks from deep is very important, and when it comes to playing out from the back, when it comes to kickstarting those attacks, Upamecano is one of the best in my opinion. I mean, this guy has exceptional passing ability. He can ping a 70-yard pass out wide. He can carry the ball, attacking the spaces, playing between the lines. He has that composure to even, carry the ball past an opponent too. Maintaining possession, opening the spaces up, and obviously finding a teammate between the lines. And of course, because he isn't world-class and perfect yet, he has made his mistakes, but he's only just turned 22 years old. You're not really expecting him to go to that next level until maybe he's like at least 25. And considering the fact that if you sign a player like this, he helps you maintain playing in a high line. For me, he would be a great replacement for Thiago Silva, and to be honest, I don't know why I'm even saying replacement, because it would not surprise me if Thiago stays here for another season, considering the guy's fitness, his class, and his ability too. To give my closing thoughts, you guys, it does seem that once this next summer period does come, we are going to see some major changes in the defensive positions. I mean, right now, most likely, Tomori and Rudiger are the ones most likely to leave at this point in time. Considering the young defensive talent we have out on loan and as part of the academy too. I mean, we're looking at how Guy is performing for Swansea, and for me, this guy is an excellent defender in the making. It seems like Lampard wants to really configure his defense for the future, and for me, Upamecano is one of those players that you have to look at. Now, the only stumbling block that we may have is fighting off Bayern Munich to try and sign him, because reports are suggesting that they are currently leading the race to sign him. But considering how we piped them to Havertz last season, considering the football we play, the money we can offer, the football we can offer, the ability to improve him and take him to the next level too, I honestly feel like if it came to another battle versus Bayern Munich, you can't rule us out. And then we take things from there, you guys. But we now end things with the final story for today, and find out who just signed their first pro contract, today with this beautiful club. Today, Jude Soonsup-Bell just signed his first pro contract after turning 17, sharing the same birthday as Mason Mount yesterday. Now, with Jude, for me, I think this kid is very talented. I'm sure you guys have seen his clips for the BBC. I'm sure you've seen his 4 goals that he scored against Barnsley. Well, today he signed a 2-year pro deal, and of course, big congrats to the player and to his family. But now I'm going to give some of my thoughts and opinions on him, and some of the details behind his game, some of the things that I really find fascinating, that I really like. And for me, it's one of those qualities that, top potential strikers do have. That's the ability to create chances for yourself. Of course, I look at strikers in the modern game, and I feel like a lot of them don't have that same technical class that was required of them back in the day. So now when we see strikers that possess that, they do stand out even more. They do provide you a bit of something extra. And looking at Jude and his ability to fashion chances with himself, he can score with both feet. He's good in the air as well. And he has that improvisational ability and the confidence to take responsibility in those moments. For me to do this at 17, I mean, it's amazing. It's great. And I think one thing I really like about him too, before I wrap this video up, is his mentality. One thing I've noticed is that he's one of those guys that doesn't tend to celebrate when he scores goals, but he is going to celebrate, I feel, when he sets himself a target to get a goal in a game. So we saw this versus United, we saw this versus Barnsley, we've seen this in previous games, and for me, it's no surprise because he has high ambitions for himself. He wants to try and beat the record set by Solanke and Tammy Abraham at the academy, and if he puts in the work and maintains it, anything can happen. But you guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Thank you for watching. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lion TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.